Take a deep breath and listen. Listen not with the ears alone, but with the ears of your soul, the quiet, powerful awareness at your very core. Because what I share with you now is not new information, nor some distant truth to grasp at. It is simply a remembrance, a returning, a gentle yet profound awakening to the truth you've known all along. You are here, in this divine, exquisite moment, not by accident, not by mere chance, but by cosmic design. You are not a fleeting spark cast upon the shores of a chaotic universe. You are instead the universe itself, condensed into human form, divine starlight wrapped in flesh and bone, a spiritual being having a deeply meaningful human experience. And in this magnificent revelation lies the key to your freedom. Freedom from the illusion of ego, from the prisons you've constructed out of fear, judgment, doubt, and separation. All around us we see individuals struggling, feeling isolated, suffering under the heavy weight of their illusions, the illusions of separation, of inadequacy, of limitation. And the greatest of these illusions is the one that whispers softly, "You are your ego." It is this falsehood that keeps you small, confined, imprisoned within a self-image constructed out of societal conditioning, parental expectations, cultural paradigms, and the ceaseless voice of self-criticism that echoes through your mind. But, my dear friend, you are not your ego, you never were. The ego thrives on separation, on judgment, on anxiety, always demanding more validation, more recognition, more power. It convinces you that you are incomplete, always lacking, always searching outside yourself for fulfillment, peace, love, and happiness. But the peace you seek, the fulfillment that your soul yearns for, is not found in external acquisitions, fleeting pleasures, or superficial validations. It is found in your silent, eternal union with the source itself. It is found when you choose consciously to become a host to God rather than remain a hostage to ego. What does it mean to be a host to God? It means recognizing and nurturing the divine presence within yourself, inviting God consciousness to live, breathe, speak, and act through you, rather than resisting and controlling life's flow from the limited perspective of ego. It means surrendering the incessant need to manage every outcome, to manipulate every scenario, and instead aligning yourself with the boundless wisdom, compassion, and creativity of the universal intelligence that guides every atom, every molecule, every heartbeat. When you become a host to God, you acknowledge that life is not happening to you, it is happening through you. You are an instrument, a divine channel for the universe to express itself uniquely and powerfully. Imagine, if you will, your life as a garden. You have two choices. You can tend this garden lovingly, watering the seeds of kindness, gratitude, compassion, and joy, allowing these divine qualities to flourish within you. Or you can neglect this garden, letting weeds of ego, resentment, bitterness, and doubt choke the very life and beauty out of it. The choice is always yours. The ego would have you believe that power lies in control, in manipulation, in forcefulness, and in dominance. But true power, the power that transforms worlds, moves mountains, and heals broken hearts, comes from surrender, from allowing the divine to flow effortlessly and unimpeded through you. The sun does not control the earth, yet his gentle warmth awakens the flowers and nurtures all life. The ocean does not command the waves, yet its tides shape entire continents. So too you must recognize your truest power lies in gentle alignment, in effortless allowing, in being open and receptive to the divine current within. You see, the ego is merely a conditioned construct, a mask you wear to interact with the physical world. It is useful in certain practical ways, but it was never meant to become your master. Your true identity, your eternal essence, is infinitely greater, infinitely more magnificent than any constructed personality or fleeting label. You are boundless awareness. You are unconditional love made manifest. You are the divine intelligence that creates galaxies, that orchestrates the dance of planets, that breathes life into the smallest blade of grass. When you truly embody this awareness, everything shifts. The world around you transforms because you have transformed from within. Each moment, every breath, every heartbeat is an opportunity, a divine invitation to release yourself from the bondage of egoic thinking, to rise above your limitations and step fully into your spiritual identity. It is not a struggle or a fight. It is a gentle awakening, like the dawning of a new day, soft, effortless, and filled with infinite potential. Imagine for a moment waking up tomorrow and feeling an indescribable peace, a joy unbound by conditions, a love unconditional and vast. Imagine feeling deeply connected with everyone and everything around you, knowing with absolute certainty that you are never alone, never separated from your divine source. Imagine living your life from this place of divine alignment, experiencing abundance, creativity, clarity, and purpose, not because you strive and fight, but because you allow yourself to be an open vessel, receptive and available to the flow of the divine. Now, know this deeply and profoundly. This life, this experience is not only possible, it is your birthright. You were never intended to struggle under the tyranny of ego. You were born to shine, to radiate the infinite light of your divine heritage, to live joyously, passionately, and fearlessly. And the only thing standing between you and that life is the simple, courageous act of surrender, letting go of your tight grip on the illusionary self, releasing yourself into the embrace of the infinite, trusting fully and completely in the divine intelligence that guides all things. Letting go does not mean losing anything. It means gaining everything. It means dropping the heavy baggage of past resentments, releasing the weighty chains of regret, shame, and guilt, and stepping lightly and confidently into the present moment. The ego will resist this, for it fears its own extinction. But you, dear friend, have no need for fear. Fear is the ego's illusion. Love is your eternal truth. When you choose love over fear, openness over control, surrender over struggle, you step into a realm of miracles. Synchronicities begin to flow effortlessly into your experience. Opportunities present themselves with ease. Relationships blossom with harmony and grace. Healing, both physical and emotional, unfolds naturally. Life becomes a joyful dance, not a weary battle. Becoming a host to God is not a once-in-a-lifetime event. It is a moment-to-moment practice, an ongoing journey of gentle self-awareness and loving intention. Each day, affirm quietly to yourself, I release the illusion of ego. I embrace the truth of my divine identity. I welcome God's presence to move through me, guide me, inspire me, and uplift me. I am not alone. I am divinely supported in every moment. As you integrate this awareness, you will see the world through eyes of compassion, understanding, and unity. You will recognize others not as adversaries or competitors, but as fellow travelers, divine souls on their unique journey toward awakening. Judgment falls away, replaced by kindness. Anxiety dissolves into loneliness, fades into the profound knowing that you are always connected, always guided, always loved. My dear friend, the invitation is always before you. Will you remain hostage to ego, enslaved by illusions of separateness and fear? Or will you open your heart, surrender your resistance, and become a host to God, a beacon of love, a channel of divine grace? The answer lies within you, gently calling you home to your truth. Listen now. Your soul is speaking. It whispers softly yet clearly. You are ready. You are worthy. You are love. And so at Island, and in this sacred moment of awakening, you begin to realize that freedom is not something to be pursued out there beyond the horizon or in the hands of another, but a sacred landscape to be discovered within yourself. The soul's journey is inward, a pilgrimage into the sanctuary of your own heart. Here, the echoes of the ego's chatter begin to soften, revealing the stillness that was always present beneath the noise, the tranquil lake of pure being untouched by the storms of thought or circumstance. This stillness is not emptiness, but fullness and abundant wellspring from which every desire, every hope, every true longing flows effortlessly. To live as a host to God is to drink deeply from this well, to bathe daily in the waters of grace that wash away illusions and leave behind only truth. And that truth is simple, radiant, and humbling. You are enough exactly as you are. Not because of what you achieve, acquire, or become, but because of the divine essence you carry like a flame that no shadow can ever extinguish. When the ego fades into the background, you begin to see life through the eyes of the soul, and suddenly the world transforms from a battleground into a sacred dance. Every encounter, every challenge, every breath is infused with purpose and meaning. The difficult moments no longer threaten to break you, but serve as mirrors, reflecting your own strength, your own resilience, your own capacity for love. In this sacred perspective, pain becomes a doorway, not a prison, a place where you surrender the illusion of separation and step into the healing embrace of unity. You begin to understand that forgiveness is the light that dissolves the walls of your inner prison. It is not a favor you grant others, but the liberation you gift yourself. Forgiveness frees you from the chains of justified resentments, which are nothing more than shadows cast by the ego's fear and pride. To forgive is to reclaim your sovereignty, to declare that no wound from the past holds dominion over your present or your future. It is an act of radical love, a declaration of your commitment to live unshackled and whole. As you continue along this path, the temptation to cling to old stories, identities, and fears will arise, but you will meet them now with a new strength, a gentle, unwavering courage born from your divine connection. You realize that your thoughts are not your master. They are passing clouds across the vast sky of your awareness. You choose which thoughts to nourish and which to release, cultivating a garden rich with seeds of peace, compassion, and joy. In this sacred garden, your purpose blooms not as a destination to conquer, but as a natural expression of your authentic self. You awaken to the understanding that purpose is not something outside of you waiting to be found, but the unfolding of your divine essence through every moment, every act of kindness, every breath taken in awareness. Your life becomes a prayer in motion, a living testament to the infinite wisdom that flows through you when you no longer resist but yield. The journey from hostage to host is not a battle fought with force, but a dance embraced with grace. It is an ongoing invitation to trust in the unseen currents that guide your life, to surrender your need for certainty, and to walk boldly into the mystery with an open heart. You begin to see that the divine does not demand perfection. It calls only for your willingness to be present, to be honest, and to be brave enough to let go. And so, as the dawn breaks upon your soul, you step forward as a radiant vessel carrying the light of love into every corner of your existence. You embody the truth that to be human is to be both fragile and infinite, a reflection of the sacred dance between earth and sky, form and formlessness, ego and essence. Your awakening is a beacon not just for yourself, but for all who cross your path. Your presence becomes a healing balm, a reminder that beneath the masks and the stories, we are all divine beings longing to be free. The freedom you claim is a gift that ripples outward, touching hearts, awakening spirits, and transforming the world one soul at a time. Remember always, you are not separate from this vast, unfolding universe. You are its breath, its light, its love made manifest. When you choose to be a host to God rather than a hostage to ego, you reclaim your sacred inheritance and live as the miracle you were always meant to be. And in this knowing, you find your true home, ever present, ever loving, and infinitely free. In this space of awakened presence, every breath becomes a prayer, a sacred rhythm that connects you to the heartbeat of the cosmos itself. You begin to perceive that the barriers you once believed so solid, the fears, the doubts, the stories of limitation are in truth but fragile veils of mist, dissolving in the light of your awareness. This awakening is not a destination to reach, but a perpetual unfolding, an eternal blossoming of your spirit toward its boundless nature. To be a host to God is to cultivate a garden of acceptance within, where every thought and feeling, no matter how shadowed, is invited in and transformed by the gentle touch of compassion. The ego may scream and resist, clinging to control, but your soul whispers the truth that true power lies in surrender, not surrender to weakness, but surrender to the infinite strength of love that flows through you when you release resistance. This surrender is not giving up, it is rising up into a greater truth. It is the knowing that you are both the ocean and the wave, the stillness and the movement, the finite form and the infinite essence. In this paradox lies your freedom, the freedom to be fully human and yet endlessly divine. As you walk this path, you become a beacon of light in a world that often forgets its own radiance. Your very presence invites others to remember who they are, to awaken from the slumber of egoic illusion and step into the vastness of their own souls. You are no longer merely surviving, you are thriving as a living embodiment of grace, courage, and infinite possibility. So let your heart be wide open, your spirit unbound, and your mind at peace. Live as a host to God, not a hostage to ego, and watch as the world around you transforms in response to the light you carry within. This is your sacred journey, your divine birthright, and the greatest gift you can offer to yourself and to all of creation. And with this knowing, you step forward into the unfolding miracle of your life, free, whole, and deeply loved. In the quiet spaces between your thoughts, a sacred invitation arises to awaken beyond the confines of habitual patterns and step into the vastness of pure awareness. This awareness is like a gentle breeze that stirs the still waters of your being, revealing depths untouched by fear or limitation. It is here that you discover a sanctuary of light, where the restless mind can rest and the heart can finally exhale its burdens. Each moment offers the chance to release what no longer serves and to embrace the subtle power of presence. Like a river that carves its path through stone, not by force, but by persistence and grace, your steady attention reshapes the landscape of your inner world. Resistance softens, allowing a fluidity that honors the natural rhythm of life's unfolding. Within this sacred flow, your true nature unfolds as an expression of boundless creativity and infinite possibility. You find yourself moving with effortless ease through challenges, not as obstacles, but as teachers inviting growth and deeper understanding. Every experience becomes a thread in the rich tapestry of your awakening, woven with threads of courage, compassion, and wisdom. This awakening ignites a quiet revolution within, a shift from seeking outside validation to trusting the profound intelligence that pulses through your very cells. It is a return to a home beyond thought, where knowing transcends knowing, and love is the only language spoken. Here, the soul recognizes itself reflected in the dance of light and shadow, embracing all with tender acceptance. As you embody this presence more fully, your footsteps echo softly but surely upon the path of transformation. You become a beacon not by striving, but by simply being a luminous presence that invites others to remember their own divine origins. Your life becomes a living prayer, a testament to the power of surrender and the grace that blossoms when the heart opens wide. So walk this path with gentle confidence, trusting that the universe conspires in your favor, guiding you with unseen hands toward wholeness. The barriers dissolve, the veils lift, and the radiant essence within you shines forth pure, untamed, and gloriously free. And in this unfolding, you come to realize freedom is not a distant dream, but the very breath of your existence waiting to be claimed here and now. There is a sacred rhythm to all transformation, a subtle unfolding that invites patience and trust. Like the gentle unfurling of a lotus in the morning sun, your soul's awakening is tender and profound, revealing beauty that was always present but hidden beneath layers of doubt and conditioning. This process asks you to soften your grip on control and to listen deeply to the whispers of your intuition, the quiet nudges of your heart, and the sacred stillness where true wisdom resides. Within this sacred space, you begin to see that your limitations are not walls, but gateways, portals to deeper understanding and expansive freedom. Every perceived failure, every moment of discomfort is a sacred lesson, a call to release old identities and step into the lightness of being. The soul does not grow through resistance, but through surrender, not by fighting the current, but by flowing with the tide of divine intelligence. As you surrender, a remarkable alchemy takes place. Fear dissolves into courage, confusion melts into clarity, separation transforms into unity. The fragmented parts of yourself come together in harmonious wholeness, and you begin to live not from reaction, but from conscious creation. You become a co-creator with the universe, shaping your reality from the fertile ground of love, intention, and aligned action. This is not a distant ideal, but a living reality available to you now. It is the choice to awaken each day with a heart open to possibility, a mind clear of judgment, and a spirit willing to embrace the unknown with faith. In doing so, you move beyond the limitations imposed by egoic thought and step fully into the expansive freedom of your divine nature. And as you walk this path, remember that the journey itself is sacred. Each step, no matter how small, carries profound meaning. The challenges you face are not burdens, but blessings, opportunities to deepen your trust, to cultivate resilience, and to express the boundless love that is your true essence. So rise with the dawn of each new moment, radiant and fearless, knowing that you are supported by the infinite wisdom of the cosmos. You are no longer bound by fear, doubt, or separation. You are a luminous expression of divine love, free to create, to heal, and to inspire. In this sacred freedom, your life becomes a song, a melody of grace, courage, and joy that resonates through every corner of existence, reminding all who hear it that true liberation begins within. And as this melody unfolds within you, it harmonizes with the greater symphony of life, reminding you that you are both composer and instrument, creating beauty with every thought, word, and action. The burdens that once weighed heavy now become the very notes that enrich your song, giving depth, texture, and meaning to your unfolding story. Each challenge faced, each fear confronted becomes a crescendo of strength, a testament to the resilience of the human spirit when it aligns with the divine. In this alignment, time loses its tyranny. Past regrets and future anxieties no longer imprison you because you have stepped fully into the eternal, now the sacred present moment where creation breathes and miracles unfold. Here you discover that your true power is not in controlling the unfolding of events, but in choosing how you engage with them with love, with presence, with unshakable faith. The universe is not an indifferent machine, but a conscious, living tapestry woven with intention and care, and you are its vital thread. When you embrace this truth, your life ripples outward like a stone cast into a still pond, touching hearts, awakening souls, and inspiring transformation beyond what you could imagine. You become a channel through which the divine dances on earth, a living testament to what is possible when one chooses freedom over fear, love over limitation. So release the need to be perfect, to have all the answers, or to carry the weight of the world alone. Instead, rest in the knowing that you are infinitely supported by a wisdom far greater than your own, a wisdom that flows through you when you quiet the noise of ego and open to the silence of your soul. In that sacred silence, miracles are born, healing begins, and true freedom is found. Step forward now, not as one who seeks freedom, but as one who embodies it radiant, whole, and beautifully free. You are the host of divine light, the vessel of infinite love, and the living proof that surrender is the ultimate act of power. And so the journey continues, ever deeper, ever higher, carried by the wings of grace into the limitless expanse of your true self. Within this unfolding journey, you come to understand that true strength is born not from resistance, but from embracing vulnerability with courage. The walls built by the ego to protect you become bridges that connect your fragmented self to the vastness of universal love. Each moment of surrender peels away the layers of illusion, revealing the luminous essence beneath a radiant spirit unbound by circumstance, limitless in possibility. This transformation invites you to live with a heart wide open, inviting compassion not only for others but also for yourself. In this space, self-judgment fades, replaced by gentle acceptance and the knowing that you are a divine expression of life, inherently worthy and deeply loved. The dance between shadow and light becomes a sacred rhythm, teaching you that wholeness is found in embracing all aspects of your being. As you embody this truth, your presence becomes a healing force, a beacon that quietly shifts the energy around you. The fears that once seemed so real dissolve into the vastness of your awareness, revealing a landscape of peace where creativity and joy flow freely. You begin to move through life not as a victim of circumstance, but as a conscious creator aligned with the harmonious pulse of existence. Remember, the path of awakening is not a race, but a sacred, unfolding each step, a precious invitation to deepen your connection with the divine within. Trust in this process, knowing that every challenge is a teacher, every breath a gift, and every moment an opportunity to choose love over fear. And so, with renewed faith and open arms, you walk forward no longer bound by the chains of ego, but soaring on the wings of your true limitless nature. And now as your spirit drinks deeply from this wellspring of awakening, the final veil begins to lift. The illusions of separation, the walls of doubt, and the chains of fear dissolve softly, like morning mist kissed away by the sun's gentle warmth. You awaken fully, not as a fragment, not as a shadow, but as a radiant whole, a living embodiment of divine presence. In this awakening, you recognize that your life is neither a random series of events nor a burden to bear, but a sacred dance choreographed by the infinite intelligence that moves through all things. Each breath you take, each heartbeat that pulses within your chest, is a note in this cosmic symphony, resonating with timeless harmony and endless grace. You are not alone, never were. You are the very expression of a love so vast, so profound, that it surpasses all understanding. Let this truth sink deeply into your bones. You are a host to God, not a hostage to ego. This realization is your liberation, the key that unlocks the prison of self-imposed limitations. The ego, with its fearful whispers and grasping hands, begins to lose its grip as you choose again and again to live from the vastness of your soul rather than the narrowness of conditioned thought. Each time you surrender your small self, your limited story, you open space for the divine to flow freely, transforming your life into a radiant temple of peace, joy, and freedom. Imagine now a life where you move with effortless grace through the challenges that once seemed insurmountable, where setbacks are no longer wounds but lessons carved by the hand of wisdom, where every moment, even though shadowed by difficulty, is an opportunity to deepen your faith and expand your heart. This is the life that awaits when you embrace your true nature, the unbounded eternal essence that has always been your home. You begin to see yourself as the alchemist of your experience, transmuting pain into power, fear into faith, and confusion into clarity. The old stories that once held you captive fall away like autumn leaves, revealing the rich soil of your being ready to nurture new growth. You no longer seek approval from outside, but find within an unshakable well of worthiness. This self-love is not selfishness, but the sacred foundation from which all love flows toward yourself, others, and the universe. With this love as your compass, your relationships transform. You no longer engage in battles of control or fear, but choose connection through authenticity and compassion. You recognize the divine spark in every soul you encounter, seeing reflections of your own sacredness in their eyes. Judgment softens into understanding, competition yields to cooperation, and loneliness dissolves into unity. In this spaciousness, healing happens not only within, but radiates outward, touching lives and awakening hearts. Your mind, once a turbulent sea tossed by worries and doubts, becomes a still lake, reflecting the vast sky of your consciousness. Thoughts arise and pass like clouds, no longer storms to be feared, but gentle visitors to be observed. In this clarity, your intuition speaks with a voice both tender and wise, guiding your steps with certainty born not of force, but of alignment with universal truth. You move forward with confidence, knowing that you are exactly where you need to be, unfolding exactly as you should. The world around you shifts in response to your transformation. Doors open that were once locked, opportunities arise in places you least expected, and synchronicities dance like sparks of divine magic along your path. You are a magnet for grace, a living beacon of hope and possibility. Through your presence, others are invited to remember their own light, to awaken from the slumber of ego and step boldly into their sacred selves. But remember, dear one, this journey is not about perfection or constant striving. It is about presence, the willingness to show up fully, moment by moment, with an open heart and a curious spirit. It is about embracing both your light and shadow, your strength and vulnerability, knowing that all are threads woven into the magnificent tapestry of your being. There will be days when the old fears rise like storms and the voice of ego calls out with familiar lies. Yet now you carry within you a sanctuary, a place of peace untouched by circumstance. Return there when the winds howl, breathe into the stillness, and remember who you truly are. In that sacred space you are whole, you are free, and you are profoundly loved. Let this knowing be your anchor and your wings. Anchor yourself in the truth of your divine essence, and let your spirit soar beyond the confines of limitation. Walk gently upon the earth, but with the courage of the stars shining brightly within you. Your journey is a blessing not only to yourself, but to all of creation. A light that cannot be dimmed, a song that cannot be silenced. So rise now, radiant soul, and claim the freedom that is your birthright. Be a host to God in every thought, every word, every action. Let the love within you overflow, touching every corner of your life and the lives of those you meet. Live boldly, love fiercely, and shine endlessly. The path ahead is luminous, the journey sacred, and the destination always home. And in this knowing, this sacred truth, you find your ultimate freedom, the freedom to simply be wholly and completely the divine miracle that you are.
There is a stillness behind every breath you take, a place untouched by fear, unsullied by judgment, unbroken by time. It is the space of your being, eternal and present. And in that space, the great miracle of transformation begins not through striving, not through control, not through the clenched fists of resistance, but through the open hands of acceptance. Acceptance is not surrender, it is not apathy, it is not weakness. It is the courageous, soul-deep acknowledgement that this moment as it is enough. Not because it conforms to your expectations, not because it gives you everything you think you need, but because it simply is. And in its isness, it is sacred. Transformation begins the moment you stop arguing with reality, the moment you cease demanding that life should have gone another way. The moment you unclench from the past, loosen your grip on your imagined future, and soften into the now. This is not passivity, this is power. The power of presence, the power of trust, the power of alignment with a deeper wisdom that transcends your intellect. Most people believe change begins when the outside world shifts, when the job is found, when the partner returns, when the pain finally disappears. But the truth, the deep and liberating truth, is that change begins inside. It begins when you turn toward your life not to fix it, not to escape it, but to be with it. To embrace what is, so that what is no longer needed can fall away. There is an old story you've been telling. a story of what should have happened, of what you've lost, of what they did, a story of shame or blame or regret. You carry it like a backpack of bricks, hoping it will finally bring justice or clarity or control. But the story is not your salvation. The story is your chain. And acceptance is the key that unlocks the door. To accept is not to approve. To accept is to see clearly, to stand still in the presence of what is, without flinching, without running, without denial. There's a kind of sacred vision that comes only when the ego quiets its complaints, when the heart stops closing doors, and when the soul is given the microphone. Acceptance is the posture of the soul. When you accept your past, it cannot haunt you. When you accept your emotions, they cannot drown you. When you accept yourself, your light, your darkness, your flaws, your beauty, you stop waiting to become someone else, and you finally arrive as yourself. This world does not need more perfected personas. It does not need more masks or performances. It needs realness. It needs presence. It needs the radiant authenticity that pours from someone who has looked at every broken part of themselves and said, yes, even this, I will not turn away. The pain you resist becomes your prison. The moment you say, this should not be, you cast yourself into inner war. But the moment you say, this is what is, you return to peace. From that peace, true change can resonate as a frantic sprint, away from what you hate, but as a gentle, guided unfolding toward who you really are. The caterpillar does not become a butterfly by force. It does not rip its own skin off in rebellion. It goes still. It surrenders. It cocoons into darkness and accepts the disintegration of all it has known. Only then can the wings form. Only then can the transformation take flight. You too must be willing to enter that sacred cocoon, to stop trying to be elsewhere, to stop judging your sadness, your anger, your confusion. These are not signs of failure. They are invitations to feel, to heal, to listen, to love. The ego will fight this. It wants movement. It wants drama. It wants victory through struggle. But the soul speaks a quieter language. It whispers in stillness. It heals through presence. And it transforms through acceptance. You have not been broken by your past. You have been shaped by it, tempered, refined, initiated. The fire did not destroy you, it revealed you. The rain did not drown, you washed away what you were never meant to carry. And the darkness was not a punishment, it was a womb, a place of becoming. Acceptance is how you make peace with the womb. It is how you sit inside the mystery and say, I don't need to understand this to trust it. The oak tree does not understand the storm, but it does not resist it. It bends, it roots, it waits, and when the winds come, it is stronger, deeper, wiser. You have carried expectations like shields, assumptions like swords, but these weapons do not protect you. They separate you from others, from peace, from your own divine nature. Lay them down. Let the story of who you thought you had to be dissolved. Return to your original self, the one who needed no reason to be worthy, the one who knew how to dance in the rain, the one who loved without a why. You are not here to control the river. You are here to learn how to float, how to feel the current beneath you and trust it is carrying you exactly where you need to go. Resistance is exhaustion. Acceptance is grace. And grace is not something you earn, it is something you allow, something you receive when you stop trying to deserve it. Grace enters when your hands are open, not clenched. It enters when your heart is soft, not armored. It enters through the door of acceptance. That door has always been waiting for you to step out of the courtroom of your mind and into the sanctuary of your spirit, waiting for you to stop defending and start discovering waiting for you to see that there is nothing wrong with you only thoughts that told you there was. Even the pain, even the failure, even the lonely, none of it was wrong. All of it was part of your becoming, part of your sacred curriculum. And when you accept that, the pain becomes wisdom, the failure becomes freedom, and the loneliness becomes a gateway to the divine. Keep breathing, keep softening, keep letting go of the need for life to be other than it is. What if everything you've been trying to fix is already perfect in its unfolding? What if the healing isn't something you achieve, but something you stop resisting? You are not a problem to be solved. You are a soul to be felt. You are a mystery to be lived. You are a wave of divine intelligence moving through a temporary form, and every experience is a note in the song of your awakening. And the song doesn't need to be rewritten, it only needs to be heard. You are not your past. You are not your pain. You are not even the name you answer to. You are the witness behind it all. The presence that observes, that breathes, that remains. And in that witnessing, in that sacred noticing, you begin to awaken. You begin to realize that nothing outside of you has the authority to define your worth. Only your own awareness can do that. And awareness, when paired with acceptance, becomes liberation. How long will you wait for permission to be at peace? How many years will you spend negotiating with the past, bargaining with the future, trying to twist yourself into some idea of enough? What if you paused right now and said, this is enough, I am enough, and I no longer need to be at war with life? There is such relief in no longer needing to fight. Not because you've given up, but because you've risen up. Risen into a higher truth, where peace is not earned through struggle, but remembered through surrender. In this remembering, your entire life becomes softer. It becomes more honest. You stop chasing illusions, and you begin to live. The soul does not speak in demands. It speaks in invitations. And every moment is an invitation to return to your breath, to your body, to your truth. To return to the quiet space beneath the noise, where life simply is. No judgments, no stories, just now, just presence, just being. Most people live in a cage built by their own minds. The bars are made of expectations, and the lock is resistance. But the key has always been in your hands. It's called acceptance. And when you use it, the cage disappears not because the world changed, but because your vision did. Imagine the peace that arises when you no longer need to control how others see you. Imagine the freedom when you stop trying to rewrite the past. Imagine the love you can offer yourself when you stop demanding that you be any different than you are. This is not complacency. It is awakening. The seed does not judge itself for not yet being a tree. It simply allows the rain, welcomes the sun, and trusts the unfolding. So must you. You were never meant to be anyone else. Your pain, your past, your peculiarities, they are not deviations from your path. They are your path. They are the exact conditions necessary for your soul to flower. Stop wishing they were different. Start listening to what they are here to teach. Acceptance is not the end of transformation. It is the beginning. When you finally stop trying to escape the moment becomes your teacher. When you stop resisting what is, you begin to receive what is. And that receiving is where healing begins. You may believe that you'll accept life once it gets better. But in truth, life gets better the moment you accept it. Because your suffering has never come from the moment itself. It has come from the thought that the moment should be something else. When you stop arguing with what is, your energy returns to you. And that energy can be used for love, for creativity, for connection, for truth. Resistance drains, acceptance replenishes. In the presence of acceptance, fear dissolves, because fear feeds on control. But when you accept that you do not need to control, fear loses its grip. And in that loosening, a deeper trust is born not in the mind, but in life itself. You begin to see that everything that has ever happened was not in the way, but on the way. Every detour, every heartbreak, every delay it was all divine choreography. You may not have chosen the pain, but the pain chose you for a reason. Not to punish, but to purify. Not to destroy, but to awaken. And when you accept that, you stop asking, why did this happen to me? And you begin to ask, what is this here to reveal in me? That shift changes everything. It shifts you from victim to vessel, from resentment to reverence, from anxiety to awe. The truth is, nothing needs to change for you to be free. Freedom is not a future destination. It is a present realization. It is a choice to see what is without resistance, without judgment, without running away. And when you truly see it, you begin to love it. Not because it's perfect, but because it's real, because it's yours, because it brought you here. And here this sacred, raw, imperfect here is where the divine lives. Stop waiting for the perfect moment to begin living. This is the moment, this breath, this heartbeat, this rising and falling of the chest. The divine is not elsewhere. It is right here. In the messy, the mundane, the misunderstood, this is where your transformation begins. It begins when you soften instead of harden, when you stay instead of flee, when you say yes to what is, even when it breaks your heart, especially when it breaks your heart. Because the heart must break open for the soul to shine through. And oh, how it shines. Not through the perfect mask of a polished life, but through the cracks, the flaws, the places where the light got in. Your scars are not your shame. They are your sanctuaries. Places where you were cracked open and still chose love. You are not here to prove anything. You are here to remember everything, to remember that you are whole, that you are held, that you are a wave of divine light temporarily having a human experience. And acceptance is how you remember. When you stop trying to be someone else, you come home to who you already are. And that home is not a place of perfection, it is a place of peace. A place where you can rest, where you can breathe, where you can finally lay down the burden of becoming and rise into the grace of being. This is the real miracle. Not that you changed life, but that you changed your relationship with life. That you chose to see with new eyes, to listen with an open heart, to walk not in fear, but in faith. And this faith is not blind, it is intimate. It is rooted in a knowing that cannot be explained, only felt. A knowing that whispers, even this is part of it. Even this has a place. Even this can be holy. The rain has never apologized for falling. The ocean does not regret its waves. The mountain does not wish to be smaller, and neither should you. Accept yourself as nature accepts itself unapologetically, unconditionally, unreservedly, because only when you accept yourself can you truly love yourself. And only when you love yourself can you truly love others. All transformation begins here, not out there, not later, but here. In the quiet revolution of accepting this moment, this breath, this you. So breathe, return, and open the door. Not the door of striving or proving, but the door of surrender. The door of yes. The door that has been waiting for you all along. And when you walk through that door, you do not find escape. You find arrival. You do not find perfection. You find peace. You do not find answers. You find acceptance. And that is the beginning of everything. Let this be your sacred turning point, not in outer form, but in inner knowing. Let this be the moment you say to yourself, with all the tenderness in the world, I will no longer resist this life. I will no longer push against this moment. I will accept myself. I will accept this path. I will accept the presence of the divine in all things. And as you do, the door swings open, the light floods in, the burdens drop away, and transformation no longer feels like effort. It feels like truth. It feels like peace. It feels like home. But don't just accept what feels easy. Accept even what you do not understand. Accept the mess. Accept the noise. Accept the days when the answers do not come. Because those are the days your spirit is doing its deepest work. The soil does not resist the seed just because it does not yet bloom. It holds it, it keeps it safe. And so must you hold your process without judgment, without haste, without shame. You are not late. You are not behind. You are not broken or lost. You are exactly where you are meant to be, not as a punishment, not as a failure, but as a sacred pause, a necessary inhale before the next unfolding. Stop measuring your growth with someone else's ruler. Your journey is too sacred for comparison. There is a wisdom in the silence. There is healing in the slowness, but only if you can accept it. If you can sit with the discomfort and allow it to soften you. Let life knead you like clay, molding you not into perfection, but into presence. And presence is where love lives. Can you love yourself when you're not performing? Can you honor your soul when you're not being praised? Can you sit in your solitude and still feel divine? Because that's what it means to accept yourself. Not when you're polished, not when you're accomplished, but now. In the sweat, in the uncertainty, in the imperfection. This is what real healing looks like, not the erasing of scars, but the honoring of them. Not pretending you were never wounded, but bowing to the strength it took to survive. You are not here to hide your story. You are here to illuminate it, not as a tale of victimhood, but as a testimony of rising. So let the pain be part of your poetry. Let the failures be folded into your freedom. Let the heartbreak become holy. There is no part of your experience that is not worthy of reverence. Nothing that needs to be exiled from the sacred space of your becoming. And if tears come, let them fall. Do not apologize for feeling. Do not harden just to be accepted. Because the truth is, your softness is your strength. Your emotions are not weaknesses. They are rivers that carve valleys of compassion into your soul. Let them flow. Let them teach. Let them reveal the truth you've hidden beneath the armor. You are safe now. You don't have to pretend. You don't have to defend. You don't have to explain your light to those committed to seeing you dim. Just be. Just breathe. Just stand in your sacred yes. Because when you stop chasing the life you think you should have, the life that was always meant for you can finally arrive. And when it does, you'll recognize it not by how perfect it looks, but by how peaceful it feels. That's how you'll know you're home. Not because everything outside is fixed, but because something inside is finally free. Free from resistance. Free from expectation. Free from the self-imposed pressure to constantly become in that freedom. You realize, I was never meant to strive my way into peace. I was only meant to remember that I am peace itself. This remembrance changes everything. It shifts your entire vibration. It reorients your path, not away from difficulty, but toward truth. Because truth doesn't always feel comfortable, but it always sets you free. And the deepest truth is this: you are enough, as you are, right now. Not one more achievement, not one more apology, not one more moment of proving is required. You were born worthy, and nothing this world can give or take can alter that. Acceptance is how you reclaim this truth, not by doing, but by allowing. Allow yourself to exhale. Allow yourself to soften. Allow yourself to be held not by another person, but by the infinite, eternal presence that has carried you from the beginning. You are not separate from it. You are it. You are the presence you've been seeking. You are the divine disguised in human skin. And in this knowing, you stop running, you stop performing, you stop pushing away parts of yourself to be loved. You realize you don't need to be different to be whole. You need to be here to be real, to be open, to be willing to accept the pain that shaped you, the joy that sustained you, the unknown that continues to call you forward. Willing to accept that life is not a straight line, but a spiral staircase, and every return, every detour, every descent is part of the rising. Willing to accept that maybe the mountain you've been trying to climb is already within you. Maybe there's nowhere to go but deeper, deeper into stillness, deeper into self, deeper into this miraculous now. Because when you live from acceptance, you no longer live in delay. You no longer postpone your peace. You no longer wait for permission to love your life. You simply begin, right here, right now. And beginning doesn't mean changing everything. It means loving what already is. It means saying yes to the life that has said yes to you all along. So say yes. Say yes to your breath. Say yes to your history. Say yes to the places that still ache and the parts that have already healed. Say yes to the soul that longs to be felt and the love that lives just beneath your fear. Because when you say yes to all of it, transformation becomes inevitable. You cannot truly accept something and remain unchanged. Acceptance is the alchemy. The fire that doesn't burn you but reveals the gold beneath the soot. And the gold is this: you are not what happened to you. You are what you choose to become because of it. You are not the pain. You are the awareness holding the pain. And that awareness, your eternal self, is untouchable, indestructible, and already whole. In this space, there is nothing left to fix, only more to feel, more to welcome, more to remember. You remember who you were before the world told you who to be. You remember the you that danced in the rain, that trusted the wind, that didn't question your worth, because worth wasn't something you earned, it was something you were. And so you return, not as a stranger, not as a project, but as a soul who remembers. You return to life, not as a battleground, not as a test, but as a temple, a holy invitation to presence, to wonder, to joy. You return to yourself, not as a critic, not as a warrior, but as a lover, a gentle witness, a compassionate guide. And from that place of inner union, where all parts of you are seen, heard, and loved, life begins to flow again. Not perfectly, not predictably, but freely. You no longer need to push. You no longer need to prove. You simply walk in the direction of truth. With each step, the path reveals itself. With each breath, the burden lifts. With each moment of acceptance, transformation deepens. And at last, you understand the door was never locked. It was only waiting for you to stop resisting. And now that you have, you are free. So here you are now, not broken, but blooming. Not lost, but found in the stillness. Not waiting, but awakening. And all of it began, not with a battle, not with a breakthrough, but with a breath, with the simplest, most radical act of all acceptance. You didn't have to travel the world. You didn't have to become someone else. You only had to say yes. Yes to this moment, yes to this self, yes to the mystery of your becoming. And in that, yes, the struggle faded, the illusion dissolved, the noise quieted, and what remained was peace. Not because the world changed, but because you did. You stopped demanding that life be different. You stopped needing to outrun your past. You stopped fearing the shadows in you. And you looked at it all and said, even this is worthy. Even this is sacred. Even this belongs. And with those words, you came home. So walk forward now, not hurried, not hardened, but whole. Let your steps be soft, your heart be open, your eyes see the divine in all things. And let every breath you take be a gentle reminder. You were never meant to resist your life. You were meant to live it, to feel it, to embrace it, to accept it. And in that sacred acceptance, to be transformed, you are already free. You are already whole. You are already home. And everything begins from here.